Hey guys, it's the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for April 26th, 2024. We're going to be discussing Game of Thrones. No, actually, no, we're going to do the NFL draft. Obviously, it's the NFL draft. It's the first night. The draft just ended, so I hope everyone had a great time watching it. And so, yeah, we're going to go over all the grades. Going to have some opinions on some stuff that I didn't mention the grades, perhaps, and of course, all sorts of fun stuff here. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, or share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us. If you really want to help support the show, super chats and super stickers. We had some great super chats from Degeneron on Tuesday. Kevin Kovac on Wednesday, Slew, John Sanders, a bunch of you guys were so great this week and always. So that's a great way to support the show because YouTube ads pay absolutely nothing. So that would be great. And also you can buy Jerks of the College Years on Amazon. I spent 6 years at Penn State, so I wrote about every funny person I met at Penn State. And I think you guys will like it if you guys like Jerks of the Week. It's written the same sort of style. So you can support that way. Otherwise, feel free to comment or post anything, ask questions. Doesn't have to be about the draft. Like I say, if I'm on by myself, I'll answer anything. So from hot dog eating contests to whatever, you guys can ask anything. So we'll go over the draft here. And we had a wild night, I think. It was, I think there were a lot of surprises because, first of all, well, we'll get to the biggest surprise, but the second, I would say like a lot of people expected a ton of trades, and I did too. I thought Arizona would move out. I thought the Chargers would move out. I'm shocked the Vikings didn't move up from 11 to the top 10. Well, they moved up to number 10, but I thought they'd make a bigger move than that. There was talk about the Colts moving up, the Rams moving up, the Niners moving up, the Eagles moving up. Like none of this happened. So it was kind of a tame night as far as trades. Like there are only 4 trades below the 6.5 prop. But at the same time, like I think it was surprising that there weren't any trades. So it was kind of weird that like it was like I said, it was tame, but like at the same time, it was a little shocking. But yeah, we had a record-setting night. We had what was it, 14 offensive players in a row to start the draft. That's never happened before. We've never even had 14 consecutive offensive players at any point during the draft. But yeah, we had 14 to start the draft. The Colts got the best player, the best defensive player, which is Latu at number 15. So congrats to those who had Latu as the first defensive player taken. Unfortunately, Latu didn't go in the top 10, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about that grade as well. Michael's saying, did you see the story about David Tepper confronting a restaurant owner tonight? No, I didn't. Please let me know. I'm dying for a good laugh here. Quacky says that day was definitely memorable. You had some great picks. Thanks, Quacky. Yeah, it was there were some good picks on our end. There were some bad picks. Kool-Aid, yeah, no team drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah, that was disappointing that he didn't go first round. That's one of the props we lost. But we did hit Darius Robinson. He went to Arizona. Latu, like I said, first defensive player taken. Unfortunately, Neighbors wasn't the first receiver, but that was more of a long shot, really. Arizona not trading out was a disappointment. I really thought they would. I'm kind of surprised they didn't because Mike Jurecki was so adamant about them. And but he did nail the Darius Robinson pick. So it's great reporting by him as always. But I'm still surprised. I guess Minnesota just wasn't willing to move up. I bet Arizona wanted to move down. They just didn't get the right price for it. Gabe says, why do the Broncos got to stab me in the heart like that? Yeah. We'll get to that too. So, but yeah, let's get into the grades. The Bears drafted Caleb Williams. We don't really need to delve into this. I actually graded this the night before. It's obviously an A, like the Bears owner didn't screw up like David Tepper did, getting his own guy. Like what if the Bears owner wanted JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix? Like that could have happened. That happened last year with the Panthers. All the coaches wanted CJ Stroud. The Panthers owner's like, no, I know better than you football guys. I'm going to take Bryce Young here. And so we saw what happened to the Panthers, and the Texans benefited from that, getting CJ Stroud. So, you can't grade this as anything other than an A. So, great move by the Bears. Jane Danos in the same vein, like they got the second best quarterback in the draft. Like they could have drafted Drake May, which is not, it wouldn't have been a disaster, but there was some talk about McCarthy, and I heard that the owner liked McCarthy the most. So I was like, is this going to be another David Tepper situation? Is he going to take his own guy? But credit to the new Redskins owner, he did not do that. So I graded that as an A. Drake May to the Patriots. So we went back to back quarterbacks. Drake May. So I graded this as an A minus. A little bit less than the first two picks, just because I think there's more risk with Drake May, but he has high potential, and the Patriots did the right thing by drafting a franchise quarterback. So you can't really hate on them for that. Like they just had to make that move because I like Jacoby Brissett, but he's not the long-term answer. So they had to do something like that for sure. Matthias said, "Go ahead, Walt. Give the Vikings an A++." We'll see. The fantasy first down. Hey Ben, he says, "Good day for mocks, bad day for props. Thoughts on the Jets going Plan D." That was weird. It sucked to lose the Jets props like that. I don't know what happened. I thought they would take Browers for sure. I hope you guys saw the nugget I posted in the draft log page. I posted it. It was like one of the first things I wrote in the draft blog page. It was I think it was about it was one of the first things. I think it was as soon as Ian Rappaport said something. It was at 7:20. I said Ian Rappaport just said Michael Penix was in consideration for the Falcons as a successor. Didn't seem like anything he was throwing out there either. If you bet Latu, I would hedge with Penix. He's 28-1 at BetUS. I bet a half unit on that. I was not expecting to win that. It definitely sounded like legit rumors. Like you can tell when some of these guys are BSing, like Rappaport and Schefter. Like if they go on TV and they kind of like throwing things out there, you can kind of tell it. But like Rappaport had this sincere expression. And I'm like, yeah, I think this is the owner. This is the David Tepper type of move by Arthur Blank. He wanted a successor, like Rappaport was saying. And so I was like, yeah, I bet Latu, and I'm willing to bet anything that the coaches and the GM and all the front office people wanted Latu. And then Arthur Blank was like, no, we're getting a Michael Penix. I'm willing to bet anything that happened. And so because like I just wanted to hedge with Latu, so I bet that at 28-1. So I posted that at 7:20. But yeah, I didn't think that was going to win though. I thought Latu would definitely go number 8. So yeah, Penix went there, so it was nice to get that win. I wish Latu went number 8, but he was still the first defensive player, so at least that one for us. Yeah, Latu, congrats. If you guys that Alt was top 5. Yeah, I mean all that speculation that the Chargers are going to take Latham. That was turned out not to be true. So yeah, Charlie, by the way, I think he got what was it, like 11 of his first 13 picks correct? Like it was insane what he did. So kudos to Charlie, the best in the business. He got us onto the Latu first defensive player taken. So definitely credit to him. So he's like, you can't bet anything on that, Walt. You can only bet half a unit. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what you mean, but like I was limited on BetUS. Like I wanted to bet more. It's like yeah, $50 is your maximum on BetUS. Unfortunately, because stupid offshore books don't they cap your bets. But I wish that Pennsylvania didn't suck and I could have bet more on DraftKings and FanDuel, but yeah, I didn't. Well, who screwed whom in the Buffalo Kansas City trade? I think the Bills screwed the Chiefs, but like the Chiefs are going to be okay because they have Mahomes and Andy Reid, you know? But it's like, did the Chiefs really need to trade up for Worthy? Like there's still so many good receivers available. Like I just don't get it. I just don't get the move. Charlie was a beast. That is correct. Are you hearing the 49ers are more open to trade Debo over Ayuk? I haven't heard anything like that. I mean, there's been more buzz about Ayuk being traded because he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. And the Niners are not willing to give him that money. So I think it's going to be Ayuk, but you never know. It could be Debo too. Let's see here. Number 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. So, like I said, I was really disappointed that Arizona didn't trade this pick, but they stuck there and they took the best non-quarterback in this class. I think maybe the best overall player in this class. Maybe Joe Alt is in consideration for that too. But um, yeah, I mean, the Cardinals really need a receiver. They lost DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown in back-to-back years, so they had to go this route. I thought that they could trade down and still get Neighbors or Adunze. I know that the Cardinals thought the three receivers were pretty close to each other. At least that's what Jarecki was saying. So if that's true, then I kind of wonder why they didn't trade down. So I docked them a little bit for that, but I mean, B plus is still good. Like when I was in school, I loved getting B pluses. So like some people, I love how like I post a B plus grade sometimes, and people are like, why do you hate this? I'm like B plus is good. I loved getting B pluses. Like I said, my GPA at Penn State was 3.2. So that's the type of student I was. I never got above 3.5 in any semester, but it was always 3.2, the average. It was always like, I'd always be like 316 or 324 or 318, 322, like always around there. But I always worked on my website before anything else at Penn State. So I didn't like really fully invest in my studies, which ended up being a good decision. Chargers going Joe Alt, number 5. So this is a tough grade because Joe Alt is so great. Like he's potentially the best player in this class overall, really. And like, so I want to grade it favorably, but they're going to ask him to play right tackle. He's never played right tackle before in his life. So like, why not just take Malik Neighbors here or trade down? Or like, I guess JC Latham makes more sense from a position standpoint, but man, it feels like the Chargers really messed up by not trading down. I think that they should have, if they didn't have a left tackle and chose Joe Alt here, I would have graded it as an A. But yeah, I like, we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll be a great right tackle. He could be, but look at Jonah Williams. Like he was really good at left tackle. Cincinnati moved into the right tackle and he struggled. Like it's not automatic. So yeah, I just don't know about this. I think I mean, I gave it a C plus. It's not like I absolutely hate it or something, but I just think it's a sketchy move. I think Giants can take Malik Neighbors. This has to be an A. Like they get their number 1 receiver. They haven't had one since Odell Beckham left. They didn't even have a number 2 receiver right now. So Neighbors is going to help them out a lot. And then we got JC Latham, number 7. So this is like the opposite of what the Chargers did. So the Chargers needed a right tackle and they took a left tackle who didn't play right tackle. And then the Titans need a left tackle, but they took a right tackle who didn't play left tackle. So I don't know what these teams are thinking. Latham's a good player. I don't know if he's necessarily like top 10 worthy. Some people would argue. I just don't know. I don't know if I see top 10 talent there, but it could work out. But I just kind of like, I'm kind of curious about how it's going to pan out, really. Let's see here. We have a bunch of comments. Like saying I have no idea what the Bills are doing. Well, here's the thing. Like I'm fine with the Bills trading down because they get more resources and they are at number 33 to start the second day. Like they are going to have a ton of options. They could trade down more. They could get more resources. Like 33 is a valuable pick to have. So I like it. Watch the Bills draft Lad McConkey tomorrow. McConkey got some first round buzz. The Cardinals acquired a ton of extra picks for this draft last year. At some point, you've got to sit and pick good players. Yeah, but like you could get more resources next year too. So like it's not just 1 year, like the Cardinals are not 1 year away from winning. Like they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. They're probably not even make the playoffs this year. Like they have to build for the future. And I think getting more resources for 2025 would have been a good move as well. Jay says, you and Charlie are the best in the draft business. Appreciate all you two do. Thank you so much, Jay. Really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. P.S. Can we bet the over-under on how many times we hear Worthy compared to Tyreek Hill at KC? Yeah, well, I mean, especially if Worthy ends up having so many kids. I don't know if you guys saw that on Twitter. Tyreek Hill had 4 kids this year. I was like, we had 2 since New Year's Eve of 2021. Like, and that's a headache for me. Just like, I love my kids, but it's so tough, and I'm so tired all the time just chasing them around. And I mean, with 4 kids, like who knows what, like how much he's going to be a part of their lives. But I joked on Twitter that like the 2046 draft is going to be so explosive. See some of good players. Pollyanna says the Bills are doing the thing. Bills doing what they're doing has to do with their poor salary cap position. Unfortunate, but kind of necessary. Yeah, it's fine. Kenny says, I want a B plus for the Cardinals. They drafted the best player. Harrison Jr. is the best probability to be a Hall of Fame for this class. That's a great pick, A plus. Kenny, you missed it. So Kenny, I understand that like you're a professor and you expect your students to get A pluses. So you probably would have hated someone like me in your class because I seldom tried hard. Like I tried hard in a couple classes like sports journalism, but like for the most part, I always like I'd walk in 20 minutes late. I'd goof off. I pay attention and stuff, but like I would never study and I'd get a B plus. You would hate me because like I would never reach my potential, but like B plus is a good grade. And it was a good pick. And like Harrison is an amazing prospect. Don't get me wrong. Like that has nothing to do with this. Like I gave the Chargers a C plus for Joe Alt, and that Joe Alt's amazing too. It's just that like the Cardinals could have traded down and they could have gotten another great player, I think. And like, I like I said, they viewed the top three receivers like almost equally. So, I mean, if that's correct, and maybe it's not, you can argue it's not, but like that's what they thought. And if that's true, then they should have traded out. Spheromancer says it's funny that the Bills, the team who needs a receiver, got a call from the Chiefs, and now dynasty super team, and heard them say they wanted to trade up for a receiver, and the Bills didn't take that guy instead. I know, right? They should have at least asked. They're like, wait, who do you want? And then, okay, well, hold on. The line's busy. I can't hear you. I'm taking him. I think that's funny. Penix to Atlanta. WTF, most of my Latu bets were defense player number one, so I celebrated when they finally cashed in. Yeah, I was like 50-50 on that. I bet Latu first defensive player, but I also bet him in the top 10. I bet him number 8 to Atlanta. Luckily, I hedged with Penix, and I hope you guys did too. I hope you guys saw that. Joel is capable, good pick. It's a good pick. It's just not, I don't know if it's a great pick, How would you rate the Raiders' current QB situation based on these round one results? Well, I mean, they were never in a position to draft a quarterback, so you can't really criticize them for that. But like Minshew's a good backup, and O'Connell can be good if he gets good blocking. We'll see if the blocking is good. If it is, then there's a chance he can play well, but they didn't take an offensive lineman, but we'll get to that pick. Michael says, I listened to your final mock YouTube video this morning, and Charlie's sources sounded way better than all the big shots on NFL Network who seemed convinced the Giants wanted a quarterback. So much for that. There was a lot of speculation the Giants would want a quarterback, but Charlie said the Giants aren't going to take a quarterback early in the draft. Maybe mid rounds, but not early. What will you post any props for tomorrow? I hope so. I hope we get something. Last year we got Hendon Hooker to the Lions at 8-1. I'm going to try to find something. I'm not going to guarantee anything. But if we hear something good, I'll let you guys know. How far do you see Johnny Newton going? Not too far. I thought he would go end first round. Like I had him 29 to Detroit and 31 to San Francisco in my final 2 updates. So it's like he's not like falling too far. I thought he'd go late first. So I think he'll go in the first 15 picks on day 2 on round 2. I think. Fantasy first down assuming the Bears, Jets, Broncos, etc. wanted to trade down but couldn't find a partner. Yeah, I think that's always the case. I think teams want to move down and they just can't find a team that wants to trade up. But the thing is, like, all we heard from reporters today was like, oh, Team X wants to trade up, Team Y wants to trade up, Team Z wants to trade up. I think like Diane Rossini was like, every team wants to trade up. I think that's like her tweets were like that. So I'm kind of surprised the teams didn't move up. I thought there would be some moves. Charlie's Latu pick paid off, not exactly as planned, but still worked out. Yeah, for sure. I was joking. You said you'd bet anything that blank made the. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. It's hard because I say something and like 15 minutes later I read the comment, and I forget what I said. Okay, he said you'd bet anything that blank made the Penix decision, and I knew you'd posted that you could only hedge half a unit on that. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Ideally I could, if Pennsylvania were a good state for betting, but it's not, unfortunately. Did you get a B plus in that jogging class? Oh, I don't know what I got. I think probably or B plus, A minus, something like that. It's I got a good grade for not participating in the class. You can read about my jogging class in that book that I mentioned earlier, Jerks of the College Years. I took a jogging class and ended up being a pretty funny experience. Um, Pollyanna says, can't believe Mitchell over 13 and a half and Thomas over 15 and a half were plus money at one point. Yeah, that was a good bet on Thomas. Mitchell, I felt like could have gone either way, and I know that like he went way later than expected, but I think the Colts would have considered him at 15 if like Latu wasn't there, you know. So, but yeah, plus money on them was a good bet for sure. Alex saying Atlanta might become the Browns and have a new starting quarterback every season. Yeah, maybe they'll take a quarterback next year too. Arthur Blank, a real life Mr. Burns. Yep. Falcons, Raiders, Bills made mind-boggling moves. IMO. I don't why the Bills though. I like what the Bills did. I don't mind it because there's so many good receivers. Like why draft one there? Just move down and take another good one. Like for all we know, like Keon Coleman's super high on their board, and like they can still get him at 33. You know. Or like McConkey, same thing. Like there's so many good receivers still left. Troy Franklin, another one. Jen, what was the Penix late news with Atlanta? What do you mean? The Penix news, Ian Rappaport said at 7:20 on NFL Network that the Falcons wanted a successor for Kirk Cousins, and so I wrote on the live blog. I was like, I would hedge with Penix, and actually I did hedge half a unit. So the most I could at Bet US. It was 28-1. So it was a nice payout, but I would have made more if Latu went top 10, unfortunately. But at least it was able to hedge. I hope you guys did too. Wiggins falling to Baltimore, typical Ravens. But yeah, I ended up having Wiggins to Baltimore, so I liked having the pick correct. What do you think about the Cowboys pick? Yeah, I mean, A plus. They could have taken Guyton at 24. They moved down to 29, got a third round pick. They still took Guyton. So yeah, outstanding move. All right. So here, Atlanta, Michael Penix Jr. This is a million. You can't argue otherwise. You can't tell me this is not enough. The Falcons, they signed Kirk Cousins to a 9-figure deal to go all in like this year. So I like Kirk Cousins is young. So he's getting up there in age. So the Falcons, they have to try to win this year, next year, maybe 2026. Like that's their window right now. And like the NFC South is very weak. And like who knows how long that's going to last, like what if Bryce Young turns his career around and like the Panthers have these new weapons now? Like what if the Panthers end up being good like real soon? Or I don't know, but the Saints are always in purgatory. But what if Tampa is they have a chance to accumulate some talent. Like the NFC South is not going to be terrible forever. And so like Atlanta's in a great spot. They're in a weak division right now. They're the best team by far. They have an easy road to the playoffs, and like getting Lai to Latu like they wanted, the coaches wanted, the GM wanted, getting him would have given them a chance against the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, like pressuring him or pressuring Jared Goff or pressuring no cookie Jordan Love or pressuring Stafford or pressuring Purdy. Like they're going to run into these quarterbacks in the playoffs they're going to have to beat, and their pass rush is not going to be nearly as strong as it could have been. And I feel like they're going to be losing in the playoffs in like the second round or maybe the NFC Championship to a team that's scoring a lot. And the announcers going to be like, oh, if only they could pressure Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has so much time, yeah, you have to wonder if Latu was there, would it be different? I feel like they screwed themselves here. And then like for the long term, I like Penix for sure, but like he's going to be what, 26, 27 before he takes a snap in the NFL, unless Kirk Cousins gets hurt, of course. But they're going to have to wait forever, this guy. And like this guy is going to be in his prime by the time he takes his first snaps. Like I get finding a successor, but they could have gotten one next year or 2026. I just don't understand this move. It's an F, no question about it. No one can argue otherwise. I think I just don't get it. Like I would love to hear an argument for this move. I just can't fathom a good one. Do you think, Mike asking, do you think Worthy will be a star for the Chiefs and he torments the Bills for the next 10 years? It could be possible for sure, but like any one of these receivers could be a star. Like the Chiefs could have gotten Leggett at 32, and he could be a star who torments the Bills. I like acquiring more assets if I'm the Bills. Um, uh, Gabe says if Worthy could catch a ball, maybe. Yeah, that's true. Penix to Atlanta was shocking. Yeah, I, I was shocked when I first heard it. First heard the news from Rappaport, and then so I like when it happened. I guess I was still a little bit surprised, but like given that Rappaport talked about it, I guess I wasn't like too surprised at the time because I already heard it. But like when he first said it, I'm like, Penix to Atlanta, it doesn't make sense. But he seems so certain about it. Like he convinced me. He sold it to me. So Germ with the $20. Thank you so much, Germ. Just really appreciate the support here. He says thanks for the info. Is it just me or is Goodell starting to sound like Biden? True or not, a shot of pressure or bad cat care. Or is he like reading off the prompter and saying pause? Goodell, did you see him drop the card? I think it was like for Dallas's pick or maybe Baltimore's pick at the end. Like he's walking on stage, you dropped the card. I thought it was funny. But Goodell always he always like reminds me of like the awkward guy at like the awkward guy at parties who like doesn't know what to say, what to say, and he just like stands in the corner and like he speaks like so artificially and like it's all fake. Like that's what he sounds like to me. And I that's how it make fun of him being a robot. Like it just seems like he's programmed to say this sort of stuff. But I guess the owners like it. They want like a guy who just like doesn't cause any trouble or like is good with the media and stuff like that. And the media all slurp him up. So I don't know. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Goodell is he's always been super awkward. Gabe says he dropped some balls that would make Tony look like Larry Fitzgerald. By the way, the Chiefs GM said that he said this like a week ago. So I bought a Kadarius Toney legendary card on Rainmakers. So Kenny can tell me if I wasted $43 or not. But the Chiefs GM said Kadarius Toney is our best receiver, and I'm like, did you forget you signed Marquise Brown? But like that showed me that maybe they had plans for Tony, especially with Rashee Rice maybe being suspended. DK finally added a draft prop and it's for Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant's just a coin flip. Like there's nothing to go off of there. Do you still think Blatsu would go first if you knew the Falcons would pass? That's a question for Charlie. That's him. You could maybe ask him or Twitter or I'll try to get him on next week to recap the draft. So you can ask him then. So I can't answer that really. It's his info. Bagley saying even a C+ is generous for the Xavier worthless pick. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, I had the same thought. Okay. Mike saying you guys bring me around to the Bills Chiefs trade. Yeah, I think it's okay. Goodell was looser than usual tonight. Muscle relaxants maybe. I still thought he was tight. I don't know. I feel like he's never relaxed. I think he's like always very super uptight. Sue saying Sanders must have jumped off the ledge. He hasn't checked in yet. Well, let's hope not. He might be angry that the Bills didn't make a pick, but I think it's good because they have good ammo. They have more ammo now, and they get to make a trade to start the second day. Kenny's saying the Falcons' DEI rating dropped after giving a white quarterback so much money, and BlackRock was about to drop the hammer, so they drafted a black quarterback to improve their favorability with the BlackRock execs. Because maybe that's it. Maybe that's why the owner like stepped in. It's like, wait a second, our DI rating is low. Nice. I love it, Kenny. Kenny's right on target. Cassandra's saying, I like how Goodell mentioned the draft at being in Green Bay next year. He never does himself any favors. It's definitely true. Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if he like does it intentionally, but like, I thought it's funny he brought Eminem to get the booze off of him. I like he says he's gotten used to it. I don't buy it. I think he hates it. Like he banned me and Charlie from the combine because I called him a douche. Like that's how soft or thin his skin is. Brian saying top rookie fantasy quarterback for next year. I'm thinking Daniels. Yeah, I kind of like Daniels. Although think about all the weapons that Cale Williams has though. Like Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze and Cole Kmet, and then Swift in the backfield. Like, man, that's awesome. So I I like Daniels' running ability. Like Caleb Williams can run too, obviously, but yeah, I think it's close. I think it's very close between the two. Definitely one of those two. Frank asking, what did the Cowboys get from the Lions? They got a third round pick. I know they got a third round pick. I don't know if they got anything else, but they got a third. Cassandra's saying Kenny can say that, but can't talk about gambling. That's a good point. That's probably true though. Like the universities hate the gambling. Mike saying, "Yeah, I'm worried about John Sanders. He's been shaky since the Diggs trade. Hope John's okay. Hope he checks in." All right, so let's get going here. Bears get Roma Dunze B plus. So I'm kind of mad the Bears didn't trade down. Like they only have 2 more picks left in the draft, but they got Roma Dunze, so I can't hate it. Like B plus is a good grade, like I said. So solid move here by the Bills, but I think they're gonna be upset when they realize they only have 2 picks left. Vikings moving up for JJ McCarthy. I almost wrote Mac Jones here. Really, I associate the two very evenly. And it feels like they're taking Mac Jones, a guy who has a higher floor but no upside. And so I get the Vikings are desperate for quarterback. Like they had Sam Darnold as a starter, so I get it. But yeah, it's I can't be in favor of it. So I'm not going to fail them or anything, but C seems appropriate. Just getting Olu Fashanu here, number 11. I'm kind of miffed by this. Charlie reported that their plan A was to trade down, which I guess they did. Plan B was to take Roma Dunze, and then plan C was Brock Bowers. So I don't know what happened. Charlie's reporting for the Jets has been outstanding over the years. Like, look at his 2022 draft. If you don't believe me, he nailed the first 2 picks and the second round pick for the Jets with source info that he had in advance. So I don't know where this came from. I'm kind of wondering what happened here, but it's disappointing. And the Jets, like they needed, like this is a weird pick for them because they're also in all win now mode. They're all in with Aaron Rodgers, and like Fashanu may not play this year. Like, what if he doesn't crack the starting lineup? And I guess you could say that for anyone, but like if they had drafted Bowers, like how does he not play right away? Like they needed someone to help them now and not for the future. And it seems like they've got like 1 foot in and 1 foot out here. It's kind of like Atlanta, but to a lesser extent, but still, I don't know. It's a good pick for the future. Just like, but they're trying to win now. So it's like, what are you trying to do here? It's stupid. Broncos taking Bo Nix. This is an F. Bo Nix does not belong in the first round. I think he's a second round prospect. This reminds me of Christian Ponder to the Vikings or Blaine Gabbert to the Jaguars. Bo Nix is just in the first round because he's a quarterback and the Broncos need a quarterback. But they should have traded down. Like of all the teams, like except for the Bears, you could argue like they should have traded down more than anyone. So, all right, Raiders getting Brock Bowers an A. I know they drafted Michael Mayer last year, but that was a different front office. Mayer was bad as a rookie, so like I feel like the Raiders passing on Bowers because they drafted Mayer would be like compounding mistakes. That's the worst thing you can do. Like if you make a mistake, like you should just try to rectify it and be like, okay, I screwed up. Like recognize it's a sunk cost and just move on. And it seems like that's what the Raiders did here, and it's a good move. It's unfortunate for them that they didn't get a quarterback, but Bowers is going to be great for them. Talise Fuaga to the Saints. Yeah, I love this. I love this pick. It's an A minus. Saints needed a left tackle and a right tackle apparently because Ryan Ramczyk may not play this year or ever again. Some people are saying he may never play ever again, which is crazy. So yeah, Saints needed a right tackle. They got the right tackle. Laiatu Latu, this is an A plus, like best defensive player at number 15. That's kind of insane value here. And also same thing with Seahawks at number 16, getting the second best defensive player. Some would say the first, in Byron Murphy, filling a big need, getting great value. That's what the draft's all about. So they get an A plus for sure. Great drafting as usual by the Seahawks. Let's see here. Kenny with the wry smile here. Gabe asking rumors. There was no rumors. There's no one to trade down with. And you can see why tons of home run picks in the late teens, early 20s. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But like the reporting all day was like teams trying to trade up. Like Diane Rossini was like, oh, Rams really want to move up to the top 10. And I heard someone else saying Colts want to move up. The Vikings wanted to move up. Like all these teams apparently wanted to move up, but apparently not. Cassandra's saying Jets were caught in a weird spot, couldn't get enough from Minnesota for a trade down because Denver had no capital, and the Raiders seem not to be interested in a quarterback for some reason. I think the Raiders wanted Penix, and like once he was gone, they're like, well, we don't want these other bums. We know the Raiders like Penix. I don't know if they would have taken him to 13. That was the question. But we knew they liked him more than anyone else, or anyone else who's going to be available. Like obviously Drake May, Jane Daniels not included, but they liked them more than McCarthy and Nix. So yeah, I wanted to see Penix go there. So, but yeah, Bauer's gonna be great for them, like I said. Bagley saying I think the Chiefs are trying to get up to 22, but the Eagles like Mitchell too much to move down. I think they're. I imagine they were surprised that Mitchell was there at 22. I think they probably thought that he was going to go earlier than that. Part of me wonders if they thought they had to move up for Mitchell. But you know, they lucked out there, I guess. Maybe not lucked out is maybe a strong word, but yeah, they ended up doing really well. The Vikings traded up for Dallas Turner. I guess they didn't hear the news that he was flagged medically, and this is why I posted last night, like late last night, early morning, that I bet Dallas Turner over 9.5. Now the vig was minus 175, so not great, not a great payout, unfortunately, but he got there. So yeah, teams flagged Dallas Turner as a medical problem, which is why he fell to 17. But and I don't know, like I don't like the Vikings trading up for him. So just like I think Cassandra said this on Twitter in response to me. It's like it's a weird use of resources here for the Vikings. Like they may have gotten him at 23. Like it's not a lock or anything like that, but yeah, moving up for a player flagged medically just seems dubious. But you know, if he's able to stay healthy, he's gonna be good for them. So I don't hate it. I just think it's about a C. Bengals getting a Mary Smims. This is a nice one for us. I had this on the site. I said like the Bengals wanted JC Latham more than anyone, but he was not going to get there. So Amari Simmons was their second choice. So it was a nice pick to get correct. Rams getting Jared Verse. It's okay. I'm not crazy about this. I thought Verse would go a little later. I actually had him falling out of the first round, but like that was kind of because I couldn't find a spot for him. But yeah, it feels a need, just not an exciting pick to me. Troy Fatanu, this is kind of like the Dallas Turner pick, except the Steelers didn't trade up. Fatanu has medical issues as well, but he's a good player. Like he can play any position, like really any position on the offensive line, except for maybe left tackle. He can play center, and so that's where they may use him because they drafted a tackle last year. But they could use him to tackle too or guard. Like it just they have a lot of versatility here, and yeah, it's a good pick. I was kind of disappointed it wasn't Grant Barton for my mock, but I don't think I bet they didn't think that Fatano was going to be here. Dolphins getting Chop Robinson here. It's a solid move. Like they needed a pass rusher. They lost players. They have injured players, and to get to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to go through Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and CJ Stroud, maybe Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Like they're going to have so many tough quarterbacks to go through. They need a good pass rush. So I think that this Chop Robinson pick makes sense. I had them taking Dallas Turner, so same position. So Mike's saying Eagles got the number one cornerback at 22. Yeah, they did. It's a good move. Celia says, no, what is this? Tony. Oh, okay. Tony Khan broken Becky on Dynamite Pile Driver. Yeah. So yeah, he broke his neck or something like that. That was a weird thing. I don't know what that was all about, but yeah. So Brady says Tomlin in his press conference said Fatano will play tackle. Okay, interesting. But you know, they can play him in the center if they want. So if he doesn't, yeah, he broke his neck. Yeah. So yeah, if they don't think he's doing a well tackle, they can just move him inside. So it's good to have that versatility. All right, so Eagles number 22, A grade for Quinion Mitchell. Like I said, he could have gone earlier. I bet they're surprised that he went this late. So he could have gone to the Raiders at 13. He could have gone to the Colts at 15. If he went there, no one would have complained. So Eagles fans should be happy. And I wrote this on the site. I'm happier now about my 17-1 Eagles bet to win the Super Bowl. They got a big upgrade at corner for sure. Number 23, Jaguars moving down for Brian Thomas. Like the Jaguars could have taken Thomas at 17 and no one would have blinked an eye, but they moved down 6 spots and then got him. It's a great move. I love when teams move down and get players they could have drafted at the spot. So like anytime that happens, it's gonna be an A+. Lions moving up for Terry Arnold. Yeah, this again, like I bet, like the Eagles, they're like, wow, Terry Arnold's here, let's trade up. So they gave up a 3rd-round pick, which is like not ideal, but they really need a cornerback help, and to like make sure they get the cornerback of their choosing. Like, top cornerback in this class is Arnold or Mitchell's, like one of the two, and like getting 1A or 1B, it's outstanding here. So yeah, I'm a big Lions fan. I love their front office. I'm not a Lions fan, but I'm a fan of what they've been doing recently. I've been betting them aggressively to win the Super Bowl or like get over their wins total. Obviously they didn't win the Super Bowl, but like they've paid out with the wins totals for the past couple of years. So I'm happy to see them do well, and I like this move. It was funny that like he took the mic from Kaylee Hartung and was addressing the crowd. That was pretty funny. Packers getting Jordan Morgan. I'm kind of surprised this wasn't Tyler Guyton. Kind of like fell into their lap, and I thought he'd be perfect for them. But Jordan Morgan is fine. I like he's gotten flagged for not being tough, which is like you never want to hear from an offensive lineman. And like throughout my years of covering the draft, I can only remember one offensive lineman who's qualified as like not being tough to succeed in the NFL, and that was Connor Williams. And by the way, like Connor Williams' career is kind of gone downhill because he's gotten injured a lot. So maybe that kind of factors into it. But yeah, it's like usually like you want your lineman to be tough. But I'm hearing that Morgan's not tough. So yeah, I get protecting no cookie Jordan Love here, but yeah, I think Guyton would have been better. Graham Barton, great move by the Buccaneers. Barton, I thought would go earlier than this, and so I thought they got a great value. He could play center, he could play guard, he could play tackle, right tackle. And that's what they need. They need a center and guard, and they got both with Barton. 27, Darius Robinson. So my little birdie was correct here. So yeah, B+ here for the Cardinals. It's a good move, not crazy value, but Darius Robinson is going to fill a big need. He's a good player. Really helped himself in the pre-draft process. So good move for sure. Let's see here. What centers get picked tomorrow? I think you'll see Jackson Powers Johnson didn't go. I think he'll be the first center off the board. Outside of that, let's see here. What center would go? I know there's let's see. I'll be able to tell you in a second. Cedric Van Pran from Georgia, I think will go in the second round. And then maybe Matt Lee, but I think he's more of a 4th, 5th round guy. There's not much center depth here in this class. So I think that if the team needs a center, I think they have to take one early with Powers Johnson. Baggett says, I was so scared when the Lions moved up. I thought they were going to jump the Cardinals for Robinson. Yeah, me too. But yeah, that was a nice one. Truist saying, any thoughts on what the Bills are doing with moving back so much? Ayak watch. So we had this earlier that like the Bills, they the financial issues and stuff like that. But like, I don't think it's that bad to move back. Like they got more resources and now they're in the catbird seat at number 33. They get to have all day tomorrow to make a deal, or they just take a good receiver. Like there are good receivers still left. Lab McConkey, Keon Coleman, Troy Franklin, all these guys could have gone at the end of the first round. And so the Bills are getting someone at 33 or maybe a little bit later that they could have gotten at 28. So I think it's really good that they're trading down. All right, so Chiefs taking Xavier Worthy. So I don't get moving up for Worthy. Like there's so many good receivers. Like why move up 5 spots for Worthy? Just I don't get it. Or 4 spots. Sorry, I don't get it. Cowboys getting Guyton. So I said that I love when teams could draft a player at a spot and then trade down and then still get that player. That's the case here with Guyton. A+ move for the Cowboys. Nate Wiggins. I give this a B. Just because like I'm worried about his the fact that he's like brittle, he's so thin, like he's less than 180 pounds. So I worry that he can stay healthy, but if he can, he's going to be a really talented player for the Ravens, and he could have gone earlier in this. So it's not like I hate the pick. I just think it's a B. Ricky Pearsall to the to the Niners. So yeah, it looks like Ayuk or Debo is on the move here. So it's not a surprise that receiver went. I just got a little surprised as Pearsall. Like I haven't seen any mock draft with Pearsall in the first round. So it feels like the Niners could have traded down like the Bills did a few spots. Like maybe make a deal with the Panthers instead of the having the Bills do it, So yeah, just not. I give it a C. I don't hate it because like it fills a need. Pearsall's a decent player, but I think it's a little like a touch too early for him. Like I had him in the 40s, I think. So, yeah, so I just not a huge fan. And then the funniest pick is Xavier Legette going to the Panthers. I said this like on the show yesterday and also Tuesday, maybe Tuesday, but I know I said it yesterday because like it got a reaction from Ben Wassley. Xavier Legette said on Twitter, or I don't know where he said it. He said that he visited the Panthers 4 times. I was like, how is that possible? Like, how do you have like time to visit one team 4 times in the pre-draft process? But like, yeah, obviously he's a local guy, or semi-local, but like, it was so weird. And then he also said the Panthers said they're going to take him at 33. And so like, there's so many connections with the Panthers to Legette. I had the Panthers taking him at 33 in my mock. So that doesn't count as a correct pick, unfortunately, when I'm scoring the mocks, because then I'd have to count every second round pick and just a big headache. But it was nice to get that correct. I just wish I had bet it. I didn't bet this. I thought I could bet it tomorrow. I knew the Panthers liked them. I just like I guess I took it for granted that it was going to happen on Friday, but unfortunately, just that's like a missed betting opportunity. So John Sanders is checked in. He says, I don't know if Bean is a genius or an idiot. He says, Bills literally can't trade for Ayuk or Higgins until after June 1st. They won't have the space and can't even maneuver enough to make the trade. Yeah, I mean, John, I don't know if you heard what I was saying about the Bills. I like their moves to trade down. They could have drafted like the guy they get at 33, like they could have drafted at 28. Like if they get Keon Coleman at 33 or Ladd McConkey or Troy Franklin, something like that, they could have just drafted him at 28. So I like getting more resources for sure. Michael says, did you see Tepper confronted some local restaurant owner in Charlotte tonight who mocked him for meddling? I did not see that. I'm gonna look it up as soon as the show is over. It'd be funny to see that, but yeah. So thanks guys for watching, commenting. Really appreciate it. I have to get to work to do the round 2-3 remock. I'm gonna grade every trade, and then try to get some sleep before day 2. So yeah, it'll be fun. Friday will be a blast. I won't be on Friday or Saturday. I'll be on Sunday though, as I said before. I'll talk about just the draft as a whole, like the top 3 days, and we'll see. The Bills will make a pick eventually, but yeah. So Johnson. Oh, Adonai Mitchell. Yeah, that's another one. Sorry. Yeah, Adonai Mitchell to the Bills. Yeah. Okay, I'll mock Donnie Mitchell to the Bills for you. But I'm not surprised that he went. I actually bet him over. I think it was like 27.5 or 28.5. Just because like there's some concerns with him. Like he doesn't handle his type 1 diabetes well. There's some character concerns with him, but he's super talented, so he could definitely go to the Bills. Truist saying, think there will be a run on safeties and running backs tomorrow, maybe early for running backs still. I think you're going to see a bunch of running backs go in the 3rd round. You might see one in the 2nd, but a bunch in the 3rd. And safeties too. There aren't good safeties in this class. Cooper DeJean falling was a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, you're going to see a run for sure. Sue says, thanks, Walt. Get some Z's. We'll see. I don't know about Z's, but I want to get to work. I actually want to eat. I haven't eaten food since like 4 o'clock. I had an orange and an apple at like 4 o'clock. And then I had cereal at noon. Like that's all I've eaten today. So I'm gonna eat and do work at the same time. So it'll be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, LL. Baggy says more likely the Bills take Coleman or Franklin IMO. Is there a reason for that? I would like to hear. Mike saying thanks. Thank you, Mike. Jay saying, will there be day 2 props? Yeah, I said this earlier, but I hope so. I'm gonna be on the lookout for them. I'm gonna try to hear what people are saying. And if I hear any info, then I will definitely post it. But there's no guarantee. There might not be any props. But if there are, I will post it on the site and let you guys know on Twitter and whatnot, and Facebook. Ben saying, love your work, Walt. Looking forward to getting into fantasy analysis. Yeah, looking forward to having you on the show to discuss fantasy, especially with these rookies, like discussing how these rookies are going to do. Like, we had a question about like who the top fantasy quarterback is going to be of this rookie class. So yeah, I'm gonna look forward to that. Like, I don't know if it's Williams or Daniels, but I think it's one of them. So looking forward to hashing that out. Alex saying biggest win of the night was the website not crashing. Yep, that's true. Yeah, the website was great tonight. No problems. I don't know if anyone had any issues, but I didn't. So yeah, it was it worked really well. And kudos to Dennis, our web developer. I know he put a lot of work into making sure the site would work. He ran like simulation tests and whatnot. And so yeah, he did a good job. And also shout out to Kenny who runs our hosting company. So just like Dennis and Kenny making sure everything would work. Definitely shout out to them. So I had nothing to do with it. It was all them. Queen Academics says, will there be day two props? I just mentioned that. If I find stuff, I will post it, but no guarantees. We might have like one or two. Like last year, we had one. We had Hendon Hooker going to the Lions. That was it. So yeah, if we hear any info, I will post it. Ben saying definitely Williams or Daniels. People will have to listen to find out. Yep, that's a nice teaser. Yeah, so Ben will be on the show sometime in May. We'll see. We'll iron it out at some point. Or say May or June. I don't want to like force him into it. I don't know what his schedule is like, but yeah, May or June for sure. Bean just said they're probably trading again. LOL. Well, if you're 33, I think you have to trade, right? Like, it's a great opportunity. And so like we talked about 4 receivers they can take at 33. Like if they move from 33 to like 38, they could probably get one of those receivers. So I think they should do it. Like, why not get more resources? That's what I would do if I were GM. Like, I'd just keep trading down nonstop. So I know that's tougher than, it's easier said than done for sure. But that's what I would try to do. And I think the Bills are doing a good job. All right. So thank you to Germ for the $20 super chat. Really appreciate it, Germ. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for commenting, posting, tuning in. Like I said before, I'll be back on Sunday and just look forward to more of the content on the site. We're going to have a ton. We're going to have a remock for rounds 2 and 3. We're going to have grades for every trade. And then potentially draft day 2 props. And then we're going to have a day 2 preview tomorrow, which is like my top 10 observations, top players available, questions. I'll post it on Twitter. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. So I'll answer them. But yeah, once again, thank you guys so much. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that mean a lot to us. And yeah, once again, thanks. And have a great time watching the rest of the draft. I will tune in for our draft grades. I'll be posting them, and I will talk to you later, and have a good night.